Hello, everybody. This is Hybrid.
And this is White Sheep.
So yeah, we both actually saw this movie, The Amazing Spider-Man, when it first came out. Like the day it came out, White Sheep saw it at midnight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but we wanted to let it process, and because there's a lot of reviews that have gone around, and a lot of them have been really positive. Some of them actually mixed and whatnot, but a lot of the positive ones have come out as soon as the film, you finish watching it, which obviously, if it's a good film, you're just going to think about the good things. You're not going to really process the stuff that's happened. So
Yeah.
with that being said, though, we were able to process this film for like a good week and a half, 2 weeks now. White Sheep, you saw it again, right? Today?
I actually did not see it again today. I went to see Brave, but I drove two people to go see it today. So,
all right. So, let's get to it. Plot and the writing. For me personally, I did enjoy the plot. I don't like how they were like advertising the untold story, and it is possible they'll go back to more of Peter's parents throughout the other films they do.
Yeah.
But I didn't like how they kind of just left that, like they seemingly were about to go into it and then they just dropped it. And then also with Uncle Ben's killer, and if you don't know that Uncle Ben like dies yet, then you obviously
that's
don't know.
kind of a Spider-Man thing.
Yeah, like, that's why I'm not going to say spoiler right now, because if you don't know that, then just, read it, just educate yourself.
Go read the original comics, but
Yeah, so Uncle Ben dies, but his killer, it seems like finding out who killed Uncle Ben is what turned Peter Parker into Spider-Man in this film. But once the Lizard seemingly is like introduced to the mix, that totally gets dropped. Like that subplot gets dropped, which to me I didn't like that much, because like a few people told me like, hey, they might bring that back up in the later films, but this is something they could have really wrapped up in the first film, and to me it just leaves a lot of it that just left it open, and I didn't really feel like it closed that well. So
I mean, I think leaving it open was the objective, because I mean, they're gonna have a trilogy. They've already said there's gonna be 3 movies that are confirmed that they're gonna make, and I think leaving a little bit in the tank, kind of as a mystery, really, I guess, would entice viewers to go see it. I mean, is it really a marketing ploy? Yeah, I think it's probably a marketing thing. But that's really what's going to go get people to see the movie. It's like, hey, don't you want to know what happened to Peter's parents? I mean, if you liked this one, then go see the other ones. A lot of people are even saying the shadowy figure at the end and the credit scene could be Peter Parker's father. I doubt it, but that's one rumor I've heard.
Yeah. People say it's everybody.
Yeah, Mysterio. I heard Sandman.
Yeah. Oh, and with the plot, I like how Norman Osborn is more of a behind-the-scenes figure.
Yep, I did like that.
And
I don't know, have they already cast someone for Norman, or
I'm not sure, but
because the one thing they showed was it was like the bottom of his face.
Yes.
But
so
yeah, I mean, for me, I get what you're saying about how it could have been wrapped up really nicely, like neatly with a little bow, but I think that leaving some of it open does actually, kind of leave something in the tank for the other movies. I think that leaving something for the other movies actually probably is the best thing to do, because you get more time to kind of fully explore the story by having this sort of origin trilogy. But yep, I like what I see there.
Yeah. So, but writing for me, the script was great. I think I like the character interaction, and we're gonna go into that more in a little bit. But for like the writing, like the premise of the story, influence wise at least, as much as it was Amazing Spider-Man and it was supposed to like really borrow from the original comics, it seemed to borrow quite a bit from the Ultimate Comics.
Yeah. Overall plot and writing for me, really, that's for me, it was really good. I liked it a lot, but or at least the writing. I do feel like, and we're gonna get into acting in a little bit, Emma Stone and Garfield, or it was the acting of various actors throughout the movie that really made the film what it was, and so, like a really strong film. I think especially credit to Martin Sheen for his kind of brief role as Uncle Ben, but that was a really good portrayal. But also, I give props to Andrew Garfield for being more like Peter Parker than a little bit. Like, I felt that Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker was a little more true to the spirit of Peter Parker than Tobey Maguire's was. I think both in appearance and like especially if we're talking about the Ultimate Universe, I feel like both in appearance and kind of character, like wit and personality, I like just how jocular he was in this movie. To steal Hybrid's word, I felt that was more true to the character than Tobey Maguire's portrayal. I also like Emma Stone's acting was also really that was fantastic. But
I must say, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone are dating in real life.
Yep.
They met on set of this film. So the chemistry you see in this film, a lot of people have been really applauding that. It's real chemistry. So
I think honestly, I mean, okay, and here's where I'm going to get back into the writing real quick, was I read IGN's review, and IGN did not really like, they gave it like, I want to say like a 6 or a 7, but it was
ignorant.
It was their review is really not. I mean, I completely almost disagreed. Once I saw the movie, I read it and I got worried because I had been really worried about this movie going into it. I was like, well, it either falls flat on its face or it soars. And I thought it soared. But
yeah,
IGN really kind of criticized the fact that Mark Webb and the producers had kind of gone for a more, what they called, I'm paraphrasing here, a teeny bopper like love story, sort of. I almost felt like that was one of the highlights of the movie.
Yeah, like the romance between the two, like to steal White Sheep, what he said earlier, at least to me, their kind of relationship, that awkward like chemistry and I guess confrontation in between the two, that carries the film.
Yeah, it does, definitely.
Big, like far away. Like honestly, if you really want like a real life scenario, that's like me and every girl in high school. Like that's how it's like. Like I could like that's just about it. Like that, it's like that awkward moment. So
and that's, I feel like
it's relatable.
That's a lot better than, I mean, and this is also partially credit to the actors, but that romance was to me a lot more believable than the ones in the original Spider-Man movies, because I could see that happening. That's the thing, is where I had almost I could see something like that happening. Really, was just like that awkward conversation. That fit the character a lot better.
Yeah.
Than any other kind of love story, like him being, really kind of on his feet, and I mean he was witty to an extent, but him being like completely shy and awkward would be not great for the whole outsider thing and genius. But I think it was just the right amount of awkwardness and wit that kind of helped carry, like it made it believable. That's the thing. And you should have seen my girlfriend. She was going crazy, like dawing through the whole thing. But I the chemistry was definitely there. I was really solid. I completely disagree with IGN on that and many other points.
Yeah, and back to that, they said that it had like a really big Dark Knight feel. I didn't really feel that.
I mean, I get that it was darker,
but it was more realistic.
It was definitely a little more realism. But okay. And on the Dark Knight point, I'm gonna say, how do you see something great like the Nolan movies that has brought comic book movies back into kind of the center focus of the film world and not say that there's a Nolan feel? Because I mean, I like in anything really, you see the influences of Nolan's Batman movies in very many superhero, not just movies but also comics and novelization, stuff like that. Almost anywhere you are going to see the influence of Nolan's Batman movies. Just the way, like games, all that, you see just the gritty nature of like the gritty nature of those movies was kind of made them successful, and I think they did a good job of making this movie a lot more real and gritty.
Yeah, well, maybe that's kind of where our views differ on this, because to me, I just feel they didn't really take, like, I didn't really get a Nolan-esque film. I just got a realism-esque film. Like, one thing that got me about the Spider-Man films and a lot of other superhero films are the fact that, we don't have the police force really trying to catch the hero at all.
Yeah.
Like, they seem to totally ignore the hero, but in this film, they actually went after the hero. They didn't just go after the hero. They pretty much went in full force.
Yeah.
Which, if you think about it, in real life, if there was a Spider-Man in New York City, that would probably be happening.
Yeah, vigilantism is actually illegal in the United States. And I'm not sure if it's a state or local thing rather than a federal thing, but I know policy is mostly against vigilantism because no one wants anyone taking the law into their own hands.
Phoenix Jones.
And that way, it was a real Rain City superheroes, y'all. But that in a way was more accurate to me. I mean, it was, of course they're gonna try to arrest Spider-Man. They sort of brought that up in Spider-Man 1 where the police officer is like, I think he's a crazy guy, or he's a crazy wackadoo, is his words exactly. But they don't go into it more than that. The only people that really find Spider-Man to be, kind of bad for the city is J. Jonah Jameson, and also noticeably absent from this movie, Jonah Jameson.
But we do see Daily Bugle like Doc
and
Hollis,
the Jameson News Network, sort of, or the Daily Bugle News Network. But I expect him to be a huge part of the movies coming up. But
okay, so yeah, one thing though, and one thing really for me that I was looking for in this film was proper representation of Spider-Man's powers.
Yep.
Like first off, the guy breaks a lot of stuff in this movie, which I'm happy with, and a lot of it's on accident because think about it, the guy can lift like 8 to 10 tons depending on what writer's writing it and what age he is. He shouldn't be like just because this is my issue with a lot of superhero films. You have a super strong character, and just like when they actually need like the super strength, that's when they use it. And I'm not talking like obviously they would use it, but I'm talking like a sense where they never accidentally break anything or accidentally push anything a little too far, stuff like that. They just happen to act like a normal human in terms of strength, and then once like let's say 100-ton thing is about to fall on them, then all of a sudden they have this massive strength the whole time.
yeah,
But in the Amazing Spider-Man, perfect example. He first gets his powers. He's holding
on the train.
On the train.
That was a great scene.
He's like
too.
breaking everything. He's breaking poles off that you use to keep your balance, and then he gets angry at Uncle Ben at one point in the film, and he runs off. And when he closes the door, though, he closes it with so much force that it shatters the glass on the door.
The next morning when he wakes up, he breaks basically his entire bathroom.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty.
That was
cool.
There's to get back to something that IGN said that really had me worried, and this kind of has a lot to do with the power representation and the acting. And I know I'm talking about IGN a lot, but they claimed that it was, or they essentially claimed that it was a flat-out Raimi remake. Like it was complete, or they fell just short of saying it was a complete, basic reshoot of the Raimi film. Just short. They claimed that it was like almost scene for scene, and I didn't get that. I came in expecting it to be exactly the same, or at least close to the same, and did not see really what they were talking about at all. Sure, a couple of the scenes that they were mentioning, like they were like another bridge fight scene, really.
Wasn't that much of a fight scene?
It wasn't really either. It was him saving someone on the bridge, and I mean, come on, it's the Brooklyn Bridge. What else are you going to show in New York outside of like the Statue of Liberty?
Actually, I think it was the Queensboro Bridge.
Was it the Queensboro Bridge? Still, it's
Williamsburg.
Williamsburg Bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, my facts are wrong.
Because they were in Midtown or Manhattan.
Bridges are a big part of New York. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
And also I think another thing they might have indirectly mentioned is the death of Uncle Ben being a complete redo. That was the one thing that came to my mind watching the movie, and then I did my homework. Go back to the original Spider-Man origin story. I think word for word what Spider-Man says in that original comic is, "Oh my God, Uncle Ben's killer was the guy that I let run past me." That's paraphrasing, but it's literally basically it's going to be the same thing in every movie, because that's a big part of what defines him as a superhero. Is he lets the guy go, and that kind of hammers home the great power, great responsibility thing. Is the fact that he let someone go that did a crime, and then that comes back to harm him. It's brutal karma, but
yeah. I'm happy they actually didn't say that, because
I'm not. That's the one thing that I don't like.
The thing is that Uncle Ben never said it until the Raimi films came out. Then everybody was like, "Oh, Uncle Ben says it," but really, it's more of a like they kind of had it in the film. It's more of like a not tone, but like a theme in the film. And I like how they kind of carry that theme. Like they came close a lot of times to saying that.
And he did say something very similar.
Yeah.
But just once again, I loved Martin Sheen in that movie.
Yeah, he
was
did
awesome.
a great job.
He was great. I mean, I honestly felt like, I don't know how to describe what I was feeling in words, but you definitely could see, it was at the same time you could see that he cared for the kid, but he was the uncle, and he knew he was the uncle, and he knew he wasn't the father. Like,
yeah.
I don't know really how to put that, but that was just the how it. His performance would like spoke volumes. I mean, his character didn't.
It's very deep and complex.
It was. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. That's the only explanation I have.
Yeah. Oh, but back to the powers really quick.
I realized I'm creating tangents.
I did really enjoy actually the scene where he's wall crawling. That kind of reminded me of the first Spider-Man with Tobey wall crawling. So that kind of brought a few memories. But with the powers as well, I did enjoy. They instead of having him create his web shooter, or he did create the web shooters, but he got his webs from Oscorp. They had a bio cable which was supposedly 10 times stronger than the tensile strength of a spider web, which is actually very strong and very impressive to make actually. But yeah, so that's how he gets his webs and whatnot. And also, I gotta say, for like the way they portray his agility and whatnot, especially when he's fighting, very well done.
Yep.
Especially the fight scene at school with the lizard. I enjoyed that a lot. I enjoyed how he made a kind of web cocoon to really slow down the lizard. Enough so he could save Gwen or at least get her out of harm's way for a while. It's just his movements and whatnot. Like Andrew Garfield did say in an interview, he was trying to make it a lot Spider-esque and everything with the movements. Yeah. But I thought he really did a good job with that. Except for the one thing I felt was really underrepresented, not really shown that much as it should have been, was Spider Sense. They always seem to skip over that.
I think they did skip over it a little bit, but I think they manifested it more as heightened ability in other senses, because you see he stops and he's just staring at spiders sometimes or something like that, or he'll hear something, or I don't know. They'll probably go into that more in the next movie. Also, like, they'll probably go into, more of the origin thing, but yeah. So, I'd also like to bring up real quick, great job by Rhys Ifans. That's all I'm going to say. Really good job. Did excellent.
And Dennis Leary, I guess.
Dennis Leary as well. That was he was kind of the quintessential Dennis Leary character with the biting wit, very sarcastic, but I think especially probably one of his funniest scenes to me was when Gwen Stacy's like cramps and he's like, "Oh crap, let me get out of here." But also another character that felt, kind of real, I guess, for lack of a better word. Very, very honest and accurate portrayal. I was not, and me and Hybrid both agree on this, not too crazy that he died in this film.
No, not at all. I felt, personally, they could have had him die in the second film, and then throughout, like, the end of the first film, beginning of the second film, to the middle of the second film, depending on when they want to kill him, he could have been, like, the father figure for Peter, and he'll, like, know Peter's identity, so he could really, be watching out for Peter, and really have, like, a father-like bond for Peter, as his uncle died and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I felt if they killed him later on, that won't have really meant something to Peter Parker. In the same way, when Gwen dies, it means a lot to Peter, because there's build-up to that. So... And I didn't really like how he was like, "Oh, leave Gwen out of this," because what was the point in that?
Yeah,
it's because it makes Peter kind of look disrespectful.
The thing is,
at the end,
he's a little disrespectful, but leave Gwen out of this. Well,
we all know that's not going to happen.
Honestly, to me, I kind of understand where he's coming from, because
he's a father.
He's a father, and not only that, he's a father. He cares, but he knows what I think. Or let me try to put this in a better way. They had mentioned in a scene earlier that her father left every day and went and put a gun and a badge on, and she didn't know if he was going to come home or not. I think the same way when Dennis Leary dies and he finds out Peter Parker is Spider-Man, he understands that they're kind of almost one and the same in that fact. I think that is kind of a subtle point, is that Gwen Stacy won't know whether Peter Parker is going to come back every day or not. And to an extent, being with Peter Parker, if someone ever finds out who he is, like Dennis Leary did at the end of the movie, and Kurt Connors found out really easily too, then she's in danger. And that's the same. That's why all heroes wear a mask. That's why Peter wears a mask, and he's staunchly against removing the mask. But, I just felt like I get where he's coming from. That's my honest opinion.
Yeah, so audio-wise, I enjoyed the audio. I thought they did a great job.
The
Mark
soundtrack
Webb
was good.
Yeah, like Mark Webb having a history of directing music videos. I'm not surprised he knows what music, especially 500 Days of Summer. If you have not seen that, I recommend you see it. It's a great film.
Hybrid gives it a 10 out of 10.
Actually, yeah, I give it like a 9.75, 10 out of 10.
There you go.
But visual-wise, though, also very well done. A few people actually complained about the lizard looking odd. I didn't think he looked odd at all.
To me, he honestly looked a little bit more like a snake.
Well, yeah.
But,
Sure,
I mean,
yeah.
without the nose, I mean, I get no lizards have noses.
The regeneration
but
thing was weird.
He looked
though.
a little bit, I mean, but that's what lizards do. He
Yeah,
looked a
but
little
it
bit
kinda
more like
grew a
a
little too
snake
fast.
to me, especially with the shedding of the skin. But I did like the fact that the lizard looked more human-like.
Yes. Oh, and one other thing. They showed that Peter Parker was a genius.
Yep.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus, whatever God, religion you believe in. It's not my place to
Buddha.
say. But yeah, Buddha, whatever. Anyways, yeah. And they made, I think we might have mentioned this earlier, but they made Gwen his intellectual equal,
Yep.
which they should have done from the start, as that's how it is in the comics.
Because in
and-
Spider-Man 3, she
yeah.
was kind of dumb.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you're my tutor. No. This is me raging a little bit. No. So,
Can I also, like,
yeah.
give a shout-out to, what's his name, Billy Zilkis? The guy that played, Billy might not be his first name, Zilkis, the guy that played Flash, also did a really good job.
Yeah, this will go into our next thing, likes and dislikes.
But audio visuals for me also fantastic. Disney does another thing great with computer generated stuff. So.
Yeah, but they had the budget, so.
Yeah.
But this wasn't
Whatever.
Disney, it was Sony.
Sony?
Yeah.
Well, that's embarrassing. But Sony, again, like just how in the 2003, 2004, 2005 era, the Spider-Man movies were cutting edge.
Yeah, like they got
This one was
award for
also
it.
really cutting edge as well in terms of computer graphics and visual stuff.
Yeah. So, likes and dislikes. I guess I'll start with the dislikes and then I'll go into my likes. Dislikes aren't that many. A lot of them I mentioned earlier, being the way they kind of dropped the whole Uncle Ben's killer subplot. Another one being, I guess, how they really handled Dennis Leary's character. Also, the fact that really, like Flash Thompson, he started off from being a classic Flash Thompson that we all know and love to not being that at all. So I kind of wish they didn't do that, honestly, because now who's there gonna be at school to really mess with Peter now?
I think they might go back to that though, because I mean, I did like the little bit at the end where he's like, where Peter's like, "Oh, nice shirt," and he's like, "Oh yeah, the ladies love the dude." I think that's probably gonna be, or not probably gonna be. I felt like that was really cool because in every kind of, or at least, Don't Shoot Me, the Ultimate Spider-Man show, you see Flash is like, "Oh my God, Spider-Man's like my hero," and like, but you see that a lot in a lot of comics. He's like a huge Spider fan, but you know, maybe he'll go back. Maybe they'll make him kind of like an off and on asshole. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, also another dislike I have. I think this is like my last dislike was how they advertised this whole untold story, but then they kind of dropped that as well. But then my likes, which I do have a lot of them, I won't go through all of them because I'll take too long really, and I want White Sheep to do his likes and dislikes too, or Roses and Thorns. That's what we'll call it, Roses and Thorns.
There you go.
But yeah, so basically, I liked how, we had a Spider-Man that was jocular. That's my word, by the way, jocular. But I liked how they did that. I also liked how they had Peter Parker being smart.
Yep.
I liked how Gwen Stacy was his intellectual equal. I like how the villain choice they had was kind of like, it's hard for Peter because it's like a mentor to him in a way, at least a scientific mentor, yet it's still his enemy. Then I also liked how Norman Osborn was more of a kind of behind the scenes character. I do like how they had the thing with him dying though. That's very interesting.
That introduces a lot of mystery for the next couple movies.
Yes, and I also like how. I just really like how they did this film. Like, I thought for going for realism, I thought they portrayed the realism well. With obviously there's being limits as it's a superpowered character and whatnot, but I did enjoy that overall. And I'll hand it over to White Sheep now.
Let's start with dislikes and then with likes, like Hybrid did. Dislikes, honestly, while I felt that it was a novel idea and fairly like a new thing to do, I did dislike the fact that Spider-Man was a skater. I got nothing against skaters. I'm friends with a lot of skaters. It's just the fact that it didn't really add anything. It just kind of, I guess, helped reinforce the popular outcast look.
That actually did kind of bug me a little bit. Like, the skating added nothing to the character.
I felt like while they did have him being a genius, and they showed that a lot, just how intelligent he is,
Yeah.
I felt like if you cut out the skater thing and focus more on A, the photography, which is a bigger part of Spider-Man's original story,
Yeah, they showed
or
that.
B, they did have a little bit of it, but or you B, focus on how he's really smart, then, you know, problem solved. But, you know, other than that, that's really my only dislike. Honestly, I didn't feel like it was a complete reshoot. I'll say a meh point where there were a couple scenes where it was a little bit like Raimi, but I don't think that's really anything that I don't think that's the fault of Mark Webb or Sam Raimi, because I think most of those are from comics anyways. Also, just like they could have been a little more heavy on the comic kind of, I guess, how close it is, but it was close enough to be considered for me good for movies, at least like superhero movies. But you know, likes, just run through them real quick. Very strong acting all around. Great power representation. And I felt like the writing, just to call it, this is my biggest like, was the acting of Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. Almost makes it harder to kill Emma Stone, really, or kill Gwen Stacy. Kill Emma Stone. To kill Gwen Stacy, Emma Stone's character, because that's gonna be coming up. I don't know if it's gonna be the next movie or it's gonna be the third movie.
Emma Stone says it's gonna be a third.
Still, and I'm that's another like for me, is the fact that Emma Stone was like, yeah, kill my character. She came out in an interview, she said, yeah, I hope they kill her. But
they better.
That's just honestly the chemistry that Mark Webb fostered in the characters. I'm not giving all the credit to Mark Webb. I'm giving it to the actors too. There was a chemistry in the cast that was really well done. The acting overall was the brightest point for me, because that was great.
Yeah, it was really nice to watch a Spider-Man movie without hearing Kristen Dunst screaming.
Basically,
for like 10 minutes.
That to me was almost as bad as the whole, well, hello, beautiful Maggie Gyllenhaal thing. Because I was looking around in the crowd, I was like, who's he talking to? But all right. So final grades, I guess, out of 10, maybe right now. Who knows?
Yeah, just one more dislike. I didn't like how, as amazing Spider-Man, like it was. It seemed to me, if not as ultimate as the Raimi films, maybe a little bit more.
Yep.
But yeah, me rating wise, actually, I give it 8.75. I wouldn't give it a 9, but it's just like a few things, at least to me, keep it from that. But it's very close, and it's a very good movie still.
Yep. Me, I personally give it a 9 out of 10. Marking it off a little bit for just those couple dislikes I mentioned, and I would feel almost a little pretentious giving it a 10 out of 10, because it was not a perfect movie, but it was damn near close. So, also an anonymous reviewer gave it 9 out of 10, highlighting Emma Stone as his favorite part of the entire movie.
Yeah, and Mango Melon, Mohawk, dude, editor, what would you give it?
9 out of 10. Probably
I'm not seeing a lot of originality in these votes. Being the first person to say 9 out of 10, I am disappointed.
I mean, I would say 9. I heard what you're saying about the skater thing, but I feel like they were trying to appeal to the popular masses of this generation.
Okay.
I mean, I get that. It might not have done much of the story, but I thought it was pretty cool, and it did sort of complement it in a nice way and sort of helped it appeal to more people.
Just in case the microphone didn't pick that up, he said that he liked the skater thing because it helped it appeal to more people. So,
yes.
9 out of 10 for Mango, Mohawk, Melon, Mohawk, whatever.
And, yeah.
I don't even know.
Just kind of my predictions for future films. I think the next film, since I did mention Oz in it, I think it will be them testing Oz to see if it works on the guy. I can't remember his name, but he becomes Proto-Goblin.
Ifran Khan, or that's the actor's name. I don't know if they ever gave him an actual name, but...
Yeah, they said his name, but...
If the actor's name is Ifran Khan.
But, yeah, he becomes Proto-Goblin, so I feel like they're going to use the Oz formula and possibly either use that, but a unknown variation of it,
probably gonna,
or mix it with the lizard serum and make Proto-Goblin for number 2. Then number 3 will be Green Goblin. We have Emma Stone dying. Yay.
Eventually.
Trilogy right there.
Trilogy. I mean, and that kind of brings, I guess, a new that's a definitely new perspective, because where the other Spider-Man movies only had 3, or they only had like 3 in the entire, I guess, Raimi series, this time, I guess, there's the opportunity for, who knows, maybe even 6 like pulling a Superman up in here. But maybe 6, maybe 9, not 5, not 6, not 7.
Yeah, like the other ones could have Mary Jane Watson in it. Like you
Of
could
course.
introduce Mary Jane.
I think she's gonna be
And
introduced
number
in the
3.
third movie.
Yeah, introduce her in number 3 as a friend of Gwen's, like in the comics. Then when Gwen dies, you know, that kind of brings them closer, like
Let's
in the
get it
comics.
on.
Boom, boom. Yeah.
Ah! All right. Okay. Moving on, I guess. Yeah, I agree with that. Biggest question mark for me: who is that mystery man at the very end credit scene? That's a big spot for me. A lot of people are saying could be Adrian Toomes. A lot of people are saying could be Mysterio. I don't think it's Mysterio because I think Mysterio is a little bit of a stretch. I've also heard a lot of people saying it might be Norman Osborn. So
Yeah, so comment below with who you think it was and
Actually,
your thoughts on the
apparently-
movie.
Ifran Khan said it's not. It's Ifran Khan said it's someone who works for Oscorp, but it's someone that we haven't seen yet.
Yes.
So, also breaking news: Sam Raimi, or not breaking, but Sam Raimi said, given the chance, he would do his 3 movies completely differently. So
Yeah, and really quickly as well,
Too
if
little,
you
too
didn't know this, the epilogue of the movie is the video game. My review, I did a review of the video game. It's gotten a few thousand views. Yay. So check that out. And also, keep in
Just a few
mind,
thousand, no
Beanox said that all characters in the film, villain-wise, are not going to be future villains in the film. So
You mean the
remember
game?
that. All the villains in the game aren't going to be future villains in the film.
That means
So-
no Scorpion or Rhino?
Yep.
Dang.
So
I
remember
wanted
that.
to see a guy in giant gray tights running at Spider-Man with a horn on his head.
So yeah, remember that. Subscribe if you haven't, especially for our 200 plus subscriber
Yay, you can
contest.
our contest. Watch that video if you want to get free stuff.
Yes, awesome free comic books. And then comment below, like I said earlier, on your thoughts on the movie and whatnot, things like that. Also, like the video if you liked it, and I guess sorry for it being so long.
We've
but
passed the 33-minute mark. That's how you know it's a good video, because we've talked a lot. That's
Yeah,
the measure of value, how much me and Hybrid talk about.
classic hybrid and white sheep right here.
Yep.
Long videos.
hmm
So
Let's get us shortened from YouTube again. Let's do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
One time they actually told us we didn't need it short in our videos
Yeah.
because we were getting long.
It's too
But
bad. Okay.
whatever.
Yep. But I guess signing off. This is White Sheep. I gave it a 9,
And this is hybrid 8.75.
and 2 other people also gave it 9s.
9.
All right, see you.
9.